Hey YouTube, this is Southern Prepper One. I'm going to bring up a subject that a lot of you are going to say, Dave, you lost it. It's going to be controversial. Some of you might agree with me. But is it going to be so bad if the system collapses? The system falls apart. The system disintegrates. Yes, I understand the suffering that will be involved. And if you look very carefully at the end of the road, there's a nice big black bear. Not too big. I don't know if you can see that. I'm going to just keep talking and work my way down there without getting eaten. It's right at the end of the property. You see that sign right there? I'm supposed to be giving you He's still there. He's that big black thing at the end. Supposed to be talking to you, but we're going to be looking at black bear soon. If you see me run, that's probably a bad thing. Oh, he's turning. He's gone. He's in the woods there. So I'll be careful when I walk past that. So what was I saying? Is it going to be so bad if the system collapses? I don't think so. I think it's going to give us the opportunity to remake what we as adults, we as older generations have let slip through our hands. We were giving something that most people aren't given. We were given a country that values freedom, values individual liberties. And for some reason, we let it slip through our hands. So I'm blaming myself, I'm blaming my parents, I'm blaming anyone that is old enough to understand this. We had something that the world craves. We had something that everyone in the world would love. It slipped through our hands. There's no way to save the system by voting. That is total lunacy. We have to fix it, but there's no fixing it. There's no way to vote people in. So I think the system is going to collapse. And if it collapses, it will give us an opportunity to set the ship in the right direction. Yes, it's going to cause hardship. People that are listening to this will be faced with very difficult times. A loss of their retirement, a loss of their money in the bank. Maybe their Social Security checks won't be there. But the way it's going, those things aren't really safe anyways. The value of the dollar is going down, and it's going to collapse anyways on itself. And we can talk about the moral decay of our country, where things that are wrong are put on a pedestal and said they're good. And if you mention that they're bad, you're demonized. You're actually labeled as bad, as a racist, as a bigot, as whatever, anti-whatever. The bear was right here. Hopefully he's not 5 feet into the woods there, where you will see Southern Prepper One run really quick. Actually, I won't run. I'll try to talk him out of eating me. I don't see him in there. That's good. So, am I crazy for thinking that the collapse might be good? Because right now, we look to government to solve our problems, and I can name a million problems that they create. The deficit, the spending of money we don't have, the debt that is huge, the debt that's unfunded liabilities that we've made promises to people, and there's no money there to pay them. If it's going to collapse, I want it to collapse now. I want to be able to bear some of that burden so my grandchildren don't have to bear it, because they're not responsible for it. The generations before them let it happen. We weren't man and women enough to have principles and standards to say, you know what, Washington, what you're doing is wrong. Or in your state capital, what you're doing is wrong. We were too comfortable. We didn't want to rock the boat. We didn't want to jeopardize our jobs. We didn't want to jeopardize our social standings. Pastors, when have you preached against sin? Sin is occurring. Sin is glorified by our government. Sin is put on a pedestal by our government. You should be hollering it from the pulpit every day. But you know what? You might have people leave your church because you're being so divisive. You're not having an open mind. Who cares if they leave your church? We will have hard decisions soon. The sooner we take our medicine, the better we will feel. And you can't tell me, Dave, we're going to vote the right guys and gals into office. That doesn't work. The system is corrupt. The system has to fall completely down. There's bureaucrats that run things in Washington. There's bureaucrats that run things in your state house full of corruption. There's so many politicians that probably been blackmailed to vote a certain way. They've been bribed to vote a certain way. So when I say the system needs to collapse, I truly mean it, because I don't see a way to fix the system with it still operating like it is. It's too powerful. Am I being crazy? Am I being foolish to wish for just a shot at putting us back on track where individual liberties and freedom are valued over everything? Where we are the supreme rulers. The government is our servant. Right now, we're the servants. We're the slaves of the government. Many of us are too afraid to speak out. We should have a society where you can speak out. If you're not saying lies or you're not saying derogatory things that are false, you should be able to say, hey, what you're doing is wrong, or this is wrong. We don't. Our system is beyond broken. So we can keep going thinking that government can solve our problems, because the government thinks they can solve all the problems, but government creates the problems. They only need to do a few things. Just protect our border. That's their biggest thing. Protect us. They're not protecting us. You hear the dog barking? I bet you that bear slipped around and he's on the other side. We'll find out in a few minutes. Government lets these people cross the border. And I'm not saying people that cross the border are bad. Yes, they are bad. They're breaking our law. But it's being permitted. There's a lot of things coming across that border that we wouldn't want in our towns. There's people that are criminals. The powers that be doesn't worry about that. They have armed security guards. They have fences. They have alarms. And they're protected. The average Joe and Jane on the street, we don't have that protection, and we're victimized. Many, many people are murdered by people coming across the border illegally. The government does nothing. So, yes, I think a collapse could be good. It would give us a chance to renew the torch, renew the tree of liberty. Because right now, we're not that free. Every time there's a problem, the government takes a little bit more of our freedoms and say, oh, give up a little bit more and we'll make you safer. We'll solve your problem. So, am I crazy? If the system collapses, maybe one good thing out. We can put the boat on the right path and fix our country. Thanks for watching.